Good afternoon, late morning, whatever time zone you are in. We appreciate you joining us. We're going to give everybody just a few minutes here to trickle in before we put our bow on AEP and get you all wrapped up. So we'll just give you a few more minutes here and we will get started about 12:05 our time. Well, it looks like the trickle is done, and we all know how patient Courtney is. So we're going to go ahead and get started. My name's Courtney. I am with National Contracting Center. I'm their strategic partnership manager. We have Miss Heather Burley, who is head of agent support at National Contracting Center, and Miss Rachel Thomas, who is head of our sales development managers. So we appreciate everybody joining. We are going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of AEP 2024. AEP starts way earlier than October 15th. So we have to acknowledge that. But from October 15th through December 7th, we had 53 days of woe. And that's the best word that we could come up with. I tried to do a fancy acronym, nothing appropriate, zero appropriate words. So we're just going to go with 53 days of woe.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but my to-do lists start having their own to-do lists. So
yeah, my Post-its have Post-its at that point. So we're just kind of covering up screens and trying to get by. I will tell you, the lead up to AEP was spot on. You guys were on point with everything. We were getting in the gates. We were ready to take off.
we saw more people certified, ready to sell earlier this year than in previous years. We had supply orders completed long before October 1st. We were very impressed with the overall preparation of everybody, marketing plans done and leads ordered. So the lead up, we were lined up.
Good. We took the plan exits with grace. We were on it. We grumbled behind the scenes. Rachel probably dealt with that more than some of the others. But you know what? We were ready for that gun to go off. We were ready for the horses to get out of the gate with the Kentucky Derby.
Except we didn't get fancy hats or the juleps. I would have liked a mint julep personally.
I mean, we should have came with big hats. We should have props for these things. We can do better next time. Now we got marching orders.
Yeah, we get spreadsheets and caffeine IVs instead of hats and juleps, but that's okay.
I've had my share of coffee plus Heather's and Rachel's today, so just bear with my ADHD self. But coming out of the gates, we did really, really good, and then we got tranquilized. It was absolute chaos. Again, no other better words. We went from woe to chaos to no commissions. And some markets were really, really affected. And I have found that in my personal and professional life, I have to laugh through the chaos. That's really just to keep what's left of my sanity intact.
That's because we're not allowed to cry at work. So see, we have to laugh because there's a rule. Courtney has a rule. There's no hugging and there's no crying.
That's correct. We try to keep our emotions down to caffeine, laughter, and then
that's the next new T-shirt. There's no crying in insurance.
No crying in insurance. Listen, I read something about, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention in school at all things fair, but there's a thing called chaos theory, and it says a butterfly flapping its wings here causes a tornado here. I remember a movie about that, Butterfly Effect.
Yeah, the Butterfly Effect. Good movie.
Tornadoes, butterflies cause tornadoes, and tornadoes caused massive destruction this AEP. This was a rough one. There, whatever is worse than a tornado, that is what I feel like you guys as agents went through this year, and it was a lot.
Yeah, we could almost liken it to day after tomorrow. That's kind of where we're at. Like, depending on where you were in the world, you were either getting snowed in, shut down, earthquakes, whatever. But even through the chaos, there was grace. You guys handled it as well as we could. With Anthem pulling commissions, followed suit by Aetna and Cigna. And I personally thought at that point, well, we're done, right? United Healthcare said they were staying clean. Humana had released theirs when they should have been released pre-AEP. But then we have this little company just come out of nowhere. And if you're one of our Ohio agents, your hopes and dreams were kind of crushed at that point. Because Med Mutual came in and legit whacked the last mole on the board and just put you down for the count. And pulled not only their commissions, but they made their plans unwritable. So it was rough out there, and we have to admire the tenacity more than anything from you guys. There was so many agents who had to write a non-commissionable plan because it was what is best for their clients, and y'all did that, and we can only appreciate that for everything that it's worth. So thank you for your grace through the chaos. Thank you for keeping your head above water. Treading water with leg cramps is not fun, but y'all did it.
There's a lot of things in the news. There's a lot of things in the media that can really be defeating. And this AEP was extra painful. But as I tell everybody in my orbit, I don't work with any of the agents that I keep hearing about on the news. And I don't know this experience that I'm seeing on social media, because that's not my experience. And, you know, we've touched base with a lot of you. We actually tracked through AEP. One of the metrics we tracked was the number of active agents that were being contacted every single week. And we did it as a percentage to make sure that we were staying connected with you guys. And we saw that percentage soar. And I just have to say that what we heard, the feedback that we got from everybody was obviously a few four-letter words that we're not allowed to say on the internet. But also, you guys came with plans. We saw a lot of ideas and innovation and changes, and everybody worked really hard to keep taking care of the client. And I'm really glad that Courtney mentioned that we still saw those non-commissionable plans come through, because we can still see if you enroll them in some situations, right? We still get notified, even if it's like just to say, here's a pat on the back. But it just reaffirms what kind of people you guys are, and that we are glad to be your partners, because you're taking care of the client first, regardless of what that means for you and your business. So please, if you haven't, give yourself a pat on the back for that, and don't sink in any of those words to heart, because that's not the people you are. And we know that, we see that.
This slide and every pun that is meant to go with this slide, my 8-year-old would be very proud of this slide. You did. You shook it off with every little bit of motivation you had. And we have some insane success stories. We couldn't be more proud of the hard work and dedication that you guys put in to this AEP.
Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate. But we're gonna shake it up.
Shake, I think is how it goes. And I just made myself a little nauseous knowing those lyrics.
You do the jazz hands.
You know,
for jazz hands.
I am not a Swiftie. Again, I have an 8-year-old that fills the gap for everybody.
We have an 8-year-old that makes up the difference.
Yeah. But there couldn't be a truer song for this AEP. And Rachel, I'm going to let you jump in with some of these amazing success stories, and hopefully there's some takeaways for everybody on this call, because some really small changes and some really interesting ideas led to some huge successes. So jump in there, Rach.
Absolutely. So, I mean, Heather and Courtney just put it really, really well. It doesn't matter where you're at here in the company at NCC, we support everyone holistically. Some of us might be a little bit more in the trenches on a daily basis, which is my team here at NCC, the sales development managers. But we're here every step of the way with you guys, celebrating those wins, whether they're big or small. So all of the chaos that everybody just talked about, we really wanted to point out some of the success stories. And these are success stories of new agents to NCC or veteran agents, because even you veterans out there, all the chaos that Courtney was talking about, you guys really felt that. And despite all of that, you still rose to the occasion and took care of your clients to the best of your ability. So we've got a new agent. I'll move forward into that. Out of Florida. He is supported by Mr. Titus Cunningham, and he reached double digits, his first AEP with us, within the first 10 days of AEP. That was purely based off of him and Titus working together and the encouragement of leveraging your community connections. His community outreach was key in meeting that sales goal for himself. So kudos to him. That was really exciting.
Heather, that's that grassroots marketing you love.
No, organic marketing.
Organic marketing. Yeah. Is there another agents out there? Is there a cleverer way to describe grassroots marketing so we don't have to say grassroots over and over and over and over?
Grassroots. Take my brain.
Oh my gosh. But, some of our veterans out there too, we've got a fabulous agent in Chicago area. And despite disruption, despite still having to meet with hundreds of clients for those plan reviews, you still have to touch your folks, people. He was able to add almost 100 new clients to him for this AEP. That was generated through referral marketing. Don't leave a house without asking for that referral. So that's a big one. If you guys ever get onto one of our agent panels, we did an agent panel a couple months ago prior to AEP. This particular agent spoke on that panel, and you could learn a lot from these veterans about how they generate those referrals. But lots of agents had to rewrite books of business this year. That is a huge win. I'm talking solo brokers who have worked for years and they're all alone. They feel all alone. They're not alone without us, but they don't necessarily have help. Like they don't necessarily have other people working physically at their office. And they still managed to write upwards of 300, 400, 500 people meeting with all those clients. And I'm talking working so many hours, working so hard. So the pat on the back is, you guys deserve more than a pat on the back. I don't know if there's anything that we could say or even send you or anything that would remotely encompass how grateful we are for the hard work that you've all put in. We're here for you always. But, sometimes I know that that's tough, but we've had a lot of conversations, supportive conversations, inspirational conversations, trying to help agents. And this is what we're here for, guys. So use us. If you're having an issue with, my brain is not working right now, I'm so overwhelmed, help me figure out, how do I meet with all of these clients? Give me a strategy.
And that's for everything. That's something we do here all the time. These ladies can tell you, many days a week, they're going to get a call from me where I say, my brain is broken. I need you to brain for me. Yes. And I'm going to tell them what I'm trying to work my way through, and their perspective, because they're not stuck in this mud, they can get through that and help me better than I can help myself.
Yep.
And I think we're, through everything Rachel was saying, the key to, our communication with you guys having to plow through your books of business, and some of them are insanely large. Um, Communication's 100% the key. So if you ever feel like you're out there on an island, pick up the phone, call us. And if you're an agent, the best thing that you can do, it's going to help you earn referrals. It's going to help you keep your book of business intact, is please communicate with your clients. This AEP was a glowing success story of everything communication from everybody's end. And sometimes you just have to call somebody else whose brain also isn't working, but two not working brains somehow make great things happen.
I use that line a lot. I'm like, hey, I need your brain. I mean, we need you guys just as much as you need us. I mean, it's a two-way street. We phone a friend all the time because, yes, our agents are our friends. I call agents all the time and I'm like, okay, I know you deal with a lot of DSNP clients. Can you help me out here? Because I got this lady in Colorado. But, you know, even the foundation that agents have laid throughout the summer and the spring and the summer, doing tons of educational events, we do a lot of work that's not immediately gratifying, right? We might do tons and tons of events and things that are to fill our pipeline for AEP. I've got a woman who, she works so hard. She has a full-time job and she dedicated every single weekend throughout the summer to travel and do festivals and do educational events. And it paid off. It paid off. She got 35 new sales out of doing that throughout the summer. You know, so it takes time and dedication, but it pans out whether you're full-time in this or part-time in this. Where there's a will, there's a way. So for us, even through all this chaos, there have been, I mean, every agent that's wrote a piece of business is a success story to us. So we appreciate every app.
Absolutely. There's really, you know, it's hard to say there's not an app that goes unnoticed, but there's really not. There are so many phone calls, especially between the three of us on this call, that start out with, hey, can you believe who I just saw on a report? Or can you believe who's at the top of our reports? Your hard work is more than we can ask for. And it takes a lot to make these AEPs work out, especially in a year like this. But your educational events, your grassroots marketing, just because I like to bother Heather with it.
I remember it.
Your constant communication with your clients, and even the referral asks. I mean, it's insane to me how much your clients advocate for you guys because you're out there doing the right thing. And I'm not sure that a whole lot of other FMOs can have this conversation and it be so unbelievably honest. So we really do want you to have some key takeaways, because you might be somebody who hasn't thought about doing an event before. And Rachel, I know at least a dozen agents who have just in the last couple years started doing events and now won't give them up for anything.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we have a veteran agent on our team. She's out of Georgia, and she will tell you that outside of her calling to help people and get into the senior market, her decision as a business person to professionally get out in her community and join every group she could. You're having fun while you're doing it. You are meeting other business professionals and you're paying it forward. You're getting their cards, giving them your cards. That was a pivotal decision in the success of her business, generating new things. It has opened up so many different windows of opportunity. So just getting on Facebook and looking for local networking groups, joining the group. Hey, do you guys meet once a month? You meet IT people, you meet marketers. She has met the folks that became her assistants that have helped her with her own personal marketing locally. She's gotten local deals on printing, just all kinds of stuff, you guys. So just exposing yourself and really, truly having the respect for yourself as a business owner. Like, I am a business owner. Like, I am a professional. and this is who I am and what I do. I mean, it's a big deal. So work with us, call your
said it was pivotal because we pivot and we pivot. And
to pivot. It's like a permanent it's in Medicare.
Ross.
Yes. Listen, we are not stuck on a staircase with a couch. But we did have to play the professional hokey pokey, stick our right leg in and our right leg out and, fall down a little bit. But what did that look like this year? Keep in mind, everything that we have here is very preliminary. You guys know as well as anybody, carriers get around to letting you know stuff when they want to. But what I can tell you is we've been asked a lot, who was the big winner this year, right? Who was the big winner? Everybody kind of knows in a lot of markets last year, Aetna was the big winner. Not all markets, but a lot. What are we seeing so far this year? We've seen for a lot of our October and November statements and payments that we have received, United Healthcare was a big winner this year, which I'm sure is not a surprise to you in a lot of your markets. We've seen Anthem was a big winner in October. And
16 days of winning. They had 16 full days of winning.
16 full days of winning.
Until it wasn't.
But then they decided they didn't want to win anymore. And that's okay because we're winners. So what will we do? We will pivot. So we've seen Cigna actually saw significant growth this year comparatively. You may have seen us on some of the Cigna leaderboards. They like to give us honorable mention, but that's okay because we are honorable and we like to be mentioned. We like it. We've seen some really consistent, stable growth out of Humana. So Humana is still up year over year from what we've seen so far. And again, everything is still pending. But that was steady, consistent growth, hovering as of right now around the 20-25%. No, John, Courtney's not allowed to say grassroots. No.
Yes, I am.
No. Anyway, stable 20 to 25% consistent growth through November. Again, all these being rough estimates. Other places we have still seen stability, carriers like Shared Health, and I already mentioned United Healthcare. We don't have full numbers yet, but what we have seen so far is Devoted has been a strong player this year, as well as if you're in the Georgia market, Sonder came out very strong this year as well. So what does that growth look like from a payment variance standpoint? Payments are up. We've seen a significant increase. Here in Tennessee, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee was a big winner. But yeah, so in all markets, I can tell you in Ohio, who was not a winner was MedMutual. But Courtney already mentioned that. So
it's really cool to see some of these regional carriers pop up in a big way on our map. We don't just take every contract that's out there. We really pay attention to background of a company, benefits, network, etc. And we know that there are some times where there's a carrier that we don't offer and you feel like it's needed. We understand that. We look for a long run game, and companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, Shared Health, Devoted, those are long run, big time player games. Honestly, my opinion of Sonder is it will probably be a Georgia front runner in the next few years, especially if they're able to continue to invest in their benefits the way that they have. But if you do have a carrier that you feel is important, something that you want us to look into, give us a call. Let us know. We're happy to do the research behind that. And it's the time of year where we are interviewing, for lack of better words, new carriers to add to our portfolio, because a huge takeaway this year was learn to be very well-rounded. At the beginning of the year, we thought CMS was pulling the rug out from underneath of us. We had to make some really quick adjustments. We went in full
I think-
force
I think
into
Pivoted.
grassroots. But we jumped in full force to the ACA market, and thank God for Miss Danielle Byers, because my head cannot wrap around all that. She's fantastic. You want to learn about ACA, give her a call. She is our local ACA expert, and she's happy to help. But between ACA, ancillary products, which are hospital indemnity, cancer plans, short-term home health care plans, etc., and then a new investment into life insurance. We know that keeping a well-rounded portfolio is going to be key to not only our success as your FMO, but your success as an agent. Because, again, part of this learning experience was realizing that our CMS leadership can legit take away anything at any point for Medicare Advantage.
We just love them so much.
We do. We have great words for them, but not being recorded.
A learning experience is really just an opportunity for me to learn how much caffeine it's going to take to survive it.
Caffeine is what we learn.
It's new.
That is it. But please take the opportunity, look at your portfolio the same way that we do every year. See what holes you need filled. Give us a call. If we don't already have the carriers and the products, we will definitely make the investment into tracking them down and seeing what we can get to make sense for everybody. That's going to be a huge key, again, moving forward. And I can't stress that enough.
And please keep sharing with us. So there's always going to be another shakeup. Most of you guys, this is not your first AEP, but even if it is, you had multiple shakeups in the same AEP. But we all know something happens every year. We don't know what it's going to be. We don't know how bad it's going to hurt, but something's going to happen. And honestly, it's all part of the ride, right? Life here is never boring, and I probably wouldn't keep doing this if it was. So we benefit when you guys share with us what you hear, what you know, what you see, what you learn, and then we can take that and apply it elsewhere. If you hear that somebody new is coming to your area, or somebody might be leaving your area, or might be losing a hospital network, share that with us. Let us try to put all of the resources that we have available to you just for being a partner of ours towards preparing, mitigating, and sailing right on through whatever that shake it up is going to be.
I mean, nobody knows your market like you do. Nobody. You guys are feet on the street. You're filling out the apps. You're seeing common doctors' names, common provider group names. You hear from PCPs, the issues they have with carriers. You know what the rumor mill is saying where you live. You already know if most Med Advantage plans might not be in the local hospital networks if you're in a super rural Midwest area. You know, you guys are the ones who know that type of stuff. So again, like Heather said, share that with us. We share everything that we can with you guys. As soon as we have the information and we know it's rock solid, we try not to jump on the rumor mill bandwagons. We try to be super careful about that, not trying to cause more chaos, because you can see from today, it's chaotic enough. So we try not to add to that.
100%. But I do want to take this opportunity to touch on something Heather said, and that's these provider networks. We have seen a much more egregious stance from large hospital networks to be more public about their negotiations with insurance providers. It happens every single year. But what the hospitals have learned is if they're the first ones to get to their clients with the news, they have a better bargaining chip. So just because you see it in print does not mean it will actually come to fruition. A lot of times the agreements end up being made in the ninth hour because everybody realizes that they need each other. I mean, that's the absolute end result. It's not fun. it is very hard to communicate to clients and say, just hang in there. But if you have a feeling or you're really concerned about a network, give us a call, because our upper tiered contacts at these carriers can help us figure out how to guide you. They know, to a certain degree, whether or not their negotiations are going well or whether or not they're just kind of sticking in there because they have to. So we can pass along that information. We can't always do it in a large public forum just because it's unfair to the hospital networks, to the carriers, et cetera. But we do have that type of information available to be had. So sometimes we have to reach out, sometimes we already have it. But if you're worried about something like that, please give us a call, because those shakeups, those are not the fun shakeups. Those are last minute. We don't have an SEP, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about. We have OEP coming up. We have lots of disaster SEPs that are available to us. But those 3 letters have reared their ugly head again. And CMS has come out and said that as of April 1, if a client has to use a disaster election, they have to do that through Medicare. They have to call 1-800-Medicare to make that election if they're using a disaster SEP. So we have until April 1 to use disaster SEPs, which right now are happening everywhere. Georgia, Mississippi, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Florida, those SEPs right now, unfortunately, because people have been so horrifically affected by floods and tornadoes and hurricanes and the general butterfly effect of everything, they're there. Mm-hmm. But as of April 1, they won't be, not for an agent to use. Mm-hmm. So
touch on that just a tiny bit. Mm-hmm. I am in no way, shape, or form getting in any way such political, but we all here know politics affects our industry. That is a statement of fact. It doesn't matter which way the wind is going, politics affect our industry. There's a lot of communication out there. We've all seen the current nomination for new CMS director, things like that. People are starting to talk, well, maybe this stuff will all go away, right? Just because of things changing. What we have received guidance on from legal minds way smarter than me, is while we will expect to see a lot of policies get rolled back or trashed or canceled or changed in any way, this particular one around disaster SEP could very well go away before then. But because of the timing that it takes for transition of power, confirmations, etc., this is a smaller item in a bigger landscape that is CMS policy regulation. Final rule, proposed rule. They've already popped out a proposed rule that'll need to be tackled if they're going to make changes. So most likely, this one's going to get knocked down on the priority list to be looked at. What I mean by that is I'm promising nothing. I'm saying nothing. I have no insider information other than the expectation of the legal minds that we receive information from is that this one will in fact go through. It will take effect. It will affect all of you beginning on April 1st. Just because of the priority, they're not going to get to it before it goes into effect. So be prepared for that one. I know there's a lot of others that we're all kind of tabling and saying, yeah, that one's probably going to evaporate before we get there. This one is expected to be a low enough priority that it does take effect. So do keep that in mind. But when you couple that with the lack of DSNP quarterly elections, I know a lot of you rely on DSNP clients as well. We would love to remind you of the quieter kid in the back, the CSNP. So keep that in mind that there are a ton of the population that qualify for CSNPs that are not on them. Maybe they don't know.
Your DSNP clients have a chronic illness, and I hate to lump everybody in that, but it is the absolute truth of the matter.
Absolutely. I mean, we know lower income receives less medical care traditionally. They take less care of their health. That's just a kind of a statement of fact. And so they're going to end up with more chronic conditions. So please start asking those questions. Maybe the chronic condition questions aren't part of your regular first 5 questions. Maybe slide one in and start seeing, because I think you'll be surprised how many people are going to qualify for a CSNP that are not on one and could then be put on a plan with a lower MOOP, with a higher quality of benefits. They get some extras. Maybe they get some OTC cards they didn't already have, and they can be enrolled throughout the year if they're not already.
And I will say that I've already had one success story with that, with an agent. He called, he didn't have an election for this lady. It's already after AEP. It was December 9th, but neither here nor there. She had missed her election. She's not in a qualifying disaster SEP area. And I just simply asked, I was like, does she have diabetes or a heart issue? Well, I don't know. Hold on a second. I didn't know the agent was in the client's house, but that's the way my life goes typically. So the agent just, turned around to the client, was like, hey, you got any chronic conditions? And she was like, well, I have diabetes.
Diabetes.
Wonderful. There's a CSNP in your area. Yeah, sorry about that, but we do have the ability to get you on a plan, which is really what she needed. And plans can be life-changing for somebody with diabetes or a heart issue, etc. So if you're unsure of your election, I'm fine playing 20 questions with you. I would like a heads up if the client is in the same room, especially if you have me.
Courtney's really loud to be on speakerphone very much. So
I do. I need warnings. Sometimes I need warning labels, but I need warnings.
It's relationship based. So we're kind of off the cuff with a lot of you guys when we talk to you. So I too am on the receiving end of, oh, you have a client in front of you. Am I on speakerphone?
I always whisper that. Am I on speakerphone? I don't know why. Like if I'm on speakerphone, the damage is done.
Sometimes when I call Heather, I have to ask, are their kids present? Because I'm about to get pretty wordy. So it's always a potential.
I think the bigger thing here, guys, is we have talked about this for a really long time. But I think that we see some challenges that are easily overcome. We can easily overcome them, but you need to diversify your book of business. So please, I implore you, please get with your sales development manager and review the contracts that you have and have a discussion around, what can I do with this? How many of you are sitting on top of a GTL or a Wellaby contract? How many of you are sitting on top of the Medicare Advantage carriers supplemental contract that they have? Courtney has worked so hard to put together some fantastic comparisons that she keeps up to date. We try to do the heavy lifting for you, but really and truly think about diversifying your book of business so that you don't wake up one day with being a victim of policy and regulation.
A big key to that, and we saw it this year, which is why Cigna grew the way that it did. And I know that Cigna has been a 5-letter company, but more like a 4-letter word to some of you guys. But we need to review that. They have some well-vested, renewed interest in growing their business, and the HMO plans are coming back around. You're going to see that in a ton of markets. Where we saw most of the commissions get pulled were PPO plans. HMOs still lived on. Cigna's growth was in large part due to their HMO and the networks that they have been able to grow over the last couple years, while they quietly focused on something that we all kind of thought was going away. So please keep that in mind. If there's a carrier or a company that you have written off, we might need to reinvest in that, along with some of our ancillary non-carrier partners. Those are going to play a huge key in your success as well. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We do all the social media items, and I say we as in the other people at NCC do those. I don't.
Me and the people that are not on here to defend themselves right now, but they are all available to you.
Absolutely. Please call them. They can help you with your social media marketing, and you're going to get tons of information from our pages in the social media world. I'm really bad at it, and that's surprising when I tell people, but I am. I'm horrible at it. I don't like it. But we have some really great talent at our office that is wonderful at it. So please reach out. Please make sure that you love us, do whatever. Can somebody else talk about the social media, not me? Like,
We have young people on staff, young, and they know what they're doing. It's funny that Courtney is the one that intros that, because we had a little office post AEP party yesterday, and I'm me, so I created games and we played games. And one of them was a staff bingo, and everybody had to find someone that filled a box. There was a box that said does not have social media. Courtney was able to fill that box for most of those people. So we're very proud of that. But yes, our in-house marketing team, social media gurus, they know all the things, they do the trends, they do the things, and they don't target the wrong audience. And I say that very specifically. Because while absolutely, they could probably be TikTok famous and have a following of 1,000 18-year-olds, they research and stay on top of what is our senior population interested in. And it's vastly different, right? You guys know better than anybody. The things that are going to attract an 80-year-old compared to a 65-year-old, they're completely different people.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's a Facebooker. He's a big Facebooker. He's 70. He's a Facebooker. If it's on Facebook, he's going to click it. But, one of his best friends in the world is 80. And he's like, I like to look at photos on Facebook. He's not going to click it. So they really pay attention to that. We do radio. We do online ads. We do print ads. We do flyers, whatever you need for those marketing efforts. Our people take care of that for you.
I'm a big believer in one of our superpowers is being able to provide you, the agent, with customized, tangible materials to go out and do the things that we ask you to do, which are these events, which are going to different businesses and hawking your wares, a lot of the right kind of wares. A lot of agents, you're starting out and you're still wrapping your mind around the fact that you're an actual business owner, and I work for myself and I don't answer to anyone but me and my clients. And we want to be able to provide you with things like, I don't have a logo. Oh my gosh, do you know how much money it costs to have a logo made? Do you know how much money it costs to pay a company to design materials? And here's the best part. If you were to do this on your own, these other companies have zero clue about Medicare compliance. They don't know about disclaimers that must be on there. They don't know about language. They're going to ask you for all that stuff. And we have a compliance department. We have someone who can give this CMS compliance stamp on top of all of that. So let us empower you to get out there and feel professional when you're out there doing these things.
We appreciate that, because it's true. We're here to help you do business the way that's most comfortable for you. So please call us and let us know what that is. We'll help you grow your business. That's what we're good at. But certain things that you're going to need to make sure that you're aware of everything we're doing is access to our event calendar. Again, access to all of our social media accounts. We are already planning our physical trips, our post AEP trips. Mississippi, you're up first. So we'll see you on the 23rd of January. Georgia, Tennessee, potentially Alabama, Carolinas, you guys are following right after that. So Brandon's dumping all the links into the chat. Those are going to be very helpful for you. All of the sales development webinars are going to be on that event calendar. our town halls, our Wisdom Wednesdays, everything that we're doing is going to be kept as up to date as humanly possible. The NABIB meetings that Heather and I gracefully go to, and sometimes have presentations very much like this. Those are going to be on there as well. So please join us. Your hard work is what drives us to continue to travel and take all the red-eye flights that are actually more funny than not, because Heather's a horrible flyer.
I'm not going on no airplane.
Oh,
And
and they
I
are.
think it's hysterical.
Yeah, they should really medicate me, but it is what it is. When you are looking at the calendar, if you don't see your area on there and you want us to come visit you, reach out, let us know. Even if we're not having a whole event there, we will still come visit you. We are happy to spend time with you in your area, learn about your area, provide whatever help we can. Maybe I will look into that medication thing so that I can fly a little bit better.
Please.
But it would really dial down Courtney's fun level because, you know, she enjoys her laughs while we fly. But overall thoughts here, 2024, one for the record books. It was a rough one. I wouldn't sugarcoat it, I'm not going to lie. It was a hard way to get here, but we've seen record numbers. We've seen incredible effort and work. We've seen people retain their book in a high threat area. We've seen carriers emerge. We've seen carriers decline. If you're interested about your specific area, what did that look like? Reach out. We're happy to share our data with you individually. You know, maybe you work in that Atlanta market and you know what it looked like for you, but you'd like to hear what it looked like for your neighbors. What carriers did we see ups and downs with? Happy to provide that to you on a granular basis. Please feel free to ask. That's the benefit of working with us, is that you get the knowledge of the country. But we appreciate you guys. We appreciate your hard work. We appreciate you hanging in there. We appreciate you pivoting. We don't appreciate grassroots. We do appreciate organic marketing. And we appreciate you choosing us to be your partner. We know you could choose anybody, and we love working with each and every one of you. And we're very grateful for this partnership. And I hope that you feel that way too. And if you don't, I hope you'll let us know so we can adjust and better serve you the way you need to be served.
Please take care of yourselves, guys. I can't stress that enough. You've worked hard. Take a break, take a nap, turn your phone off, do whatever you got to do to preserve you. You can't do anything. You can't grow your business without yourself. So make sure that you're taking whatever breaks that are needed. You guys are very important to us. We appreciate everything. Like Heather said, I can't echo that enough other than to say, please take care of yourselves. That's going to be important.
Ditto.
Hey, look at that. That was Rachel's shortest statement in the history of Rachel statements.
It's like the Christmas lights and the one house is all lit up and the one beside it writes ditto. It was perfect.
Yep. I'm the one who extends meetings, just an FYI.
I know. I'm looking at the clock like Rachel started talking. We're going to have to put an end to this one. But we do. We appreciate you guys. We're going to be very respectful of your time. Happy holidays to everybody who has joined us. Thank you all for everything you have done. It's a pleasure to work with every single one of you, and we will talk to you soon.